the unseen depths. In the embrace of the sprawling savanna, bordered by the twisting, silver thread of the river, lies the village of Zalika, a place where the laughter of playing children blends with the calls of distant wildlife. Here, the homes are modest, crafted from the earth itself, and topped with thatched roofs that whisper under the caress of the wind. It is a village that thrives on simplicity and the close bonds of community. Among the villagers, there is a young girl named Olivia. With skin kissed by the sun to a warm, golden hue and eyes as deep and dark as the river at twilight, Olivia embodies the spirit of Zalika. Despite her beauty, she is cloaked in the shadows of poverty. Her clothes, though clean, are patched and faded, her shoes a little too worn, a little too tight. She lives in a small house at the village's edge with her mother, Ada, whose smile is as wide as the horizon but whose hands are callous from long days of labor, cleaning homes of the more affluent in the village. Olivia's days are often clouded by the harsh words of her classmates, children of wealthier families who see her not for her quick mind or kind heart but for the patches on her dress and the dust on her feet. At school, she sits alone, her notebooks filled with meticulous work, her head often bowed not in submission, but in silent defiance. The leader of her tormentors is a girl named Jessica, whose beauty is marred by her sneer and whose followers, Maya and Lily, echo her cruelties. They weave a tapestry of taunts each day, their words sharp as stones. Look at rugged Olivia, they jeer as she walks by, her head held high, the weight of each word like stones in her pockets. But Olivia, nurtured by the gentle strength of her mother, knows a secret that sustains her. She finds solace where the river bends, under the ancient baobab tree. There, the waters whisper and the breeze hums a melody of resilience. It is here that Olivia sketches the birds, the trees, the dance of light on water, capturing the beauty of her world on the pages of her tattered notebook. Each stroke of her pencil is a quiet rebellion against those who would see her as less. One day, as the sun sets casting a golden glow over the river, transforming the water into flowing molten gold, a teacher announces a field trip to the very heart of Olivia's sanctuary, the river. Excitement ripples through the class, but Olivia feels a twinge of anxiety. The river is her refuge, not a place for her tormentors to invade. As the day of the trip draws near, Jessica's cruel excitement grows. Let's see how the poor mermaid swims, she whispers, plotting a prank that she promises will end Olivia's pathetic pretenses once and for all. Unaware of the storm brewing, Olivia looks to the horizon, where the water meets the sky, hoping, praying for strength. She knows the depth of the river in ways that none of her classmates do, its currents and moods as familiar to her as the lines of her own hands. But beneath the surface, where shadows dwell and light shimmers through layers of water, lies a secret about Olivia. A secret deep and vast and waiting, like the river itself, for the right moment to surface. And when it does, the village of Zalika will never be the same again, whispers of the water. In Zalika, where the river's gentle murmur blends seamlessly with the buzz of village life, Olivia's school days unfold under the harsh scrutiny of her peers. School, a place of learning and laughter for many, is a battleground for Olivia, where she endures the relentless taunts of Jessica and her clique. Jessica, with her sleek hair and polished shoes, sees Olivia's humble appearance not as a sign of her quiet dignity but as a target for mockery. Each day, as Olivia walks through the school gates, her patched bag slung over her shoulder, the sneering begins anew. Look at Olivia's dress, it's like a patchwork quilt. Jessica would say loudly, ensuring her voice carried across the playground. Her followers, Maya and Lily, would giggle, casting disdainful looks at Olivia's worn shoes. Despite the cruelty, Olivia's spirit remains unbroken. She finds solace in her notebooks, where she pours her vision of the world into sketches. Each page is a window to a world seen not through the lens of poverty but through the eyes of creativity and sensitivity. Her drawings of the river, in particular, are vibrant and detailed, capturing its every mood and ripple. It is as if, through her art, she can speak to the river, and it speaks back to her, a whispering of water that understands her struggles and soothes her spirit. At home, Olivia's mother, Ada, notices the shadows beneath her daughter's eyes, growing more pronounced with each passing day. "Tell me what's wrong, my heart," Ada would say, using her endearment for Olivia. But Olivia, not wishing to burden her mother who already toils from dawn till dusk, simply smiles and replies, "It's nothing, Mama. Just tired from schoolwork." Ada, however, knows the resilience of her daughter is being tested, and she worries silently. As the school trip to the river approaches, Jessica hatches a plan to humiliate Olivia in front of their classmates. "It's going to be hilarious," she whispers to Maya and Lily as they sit in the back of the classroom, their heads bent together in conspiracy. "Imagine, the river rat thinking she can swim. Let's see how she handles a little push into the water when everyone's watching." The girls snicker, imagining the scene where Olivia's facade of quiet strength crumbles publicly. On the eve of the trip, Olivia sits by the river, her sketchpad on her lap. Unbeknownst to her, the river seems to sense her turmoil, the waters lap more insistently at her feet, as if offering comfort. As she sketches, her lines are bolder, her strokes more defiant, an unconscious mirroring of her resolve to not let Jessica and her minions see her falter. As the sun sets, painting the river in hues of orange and gold, Olivia makes a silent vow to herself. "Tomorrow," she thinks, "no matter what they do, they won't break me." The river seems to whisper in agreement, the water shimmering with 1,000 tiny suns, promising her strength for the trials to come. Little does she know, her life is about to change in ways she never imagined, as deep in the waters, her true heritage stirs, ready to surface the fall. The morning of the school trip dawned clear and bright, a perfect day for an outing by the river. The students of Zalika Village School gathered excitedly, chattering and laughing as they boarded the bus that would take them to the riverside. Among them, Olivia tried to stay inconspicuous, hoping to find peace in the beauty of her favorite place away from the prying eyes of her tormentors. As the bus trundled along the dusty road, the river's proximity brought a fresh, cool breeze through the windows, carrying the scent of water and wet earth. Olivia sat quietly, her sketchbook pressed tightly against her chest, her gaze fixed on the passing scenery. Despite her attempts to remain calm, her heart raced with a mix of anticipation and dread. Meanwhile, at the back of the bus, Jessica and her friends whispered and snickered, casting occasional glances at Olivia. They had refined their cruel plan during the ride, ensuring every detail was set to embarrass Olivia in front of their classmates. The thought of seeing Olivia humiliated seemed to fuel their excitement, their whispers growing more audacious as the river drew near. Upon arrival, the jubilant shouts of the students filled the air as they disembarked, rushing towards the water's edge. The teachers corralled everyone for a brief lecture on safety, then allowed the students to explore in groups. Olivia hung back, watching the others scamper around, laughter echoing off the water. Choosing a secluded spot under a sprawling acacia tree, Olivia began to draw, her pencil gracefully dancing across the page, capturing the serene landscape. Her focus on the river, with its soothing whispers and gentle ripples, momentarily eased her anxieties. But the peace was short-lived. Jessica, Maya, and Lily approached quietly, their shadows looming over Olivia's canvas. Startled, Olivia looked up, her heart sinking as she met Jessica's mocking gaze. "Hey, river rat," Jessica sneered, "thought you could hide from us. Let's see how well you swim." Before Olivia could react, Jessica and her cronies grabbed her. Olivia struggled, panic flaring as their grip tightened. With a malicious laugh, Jessica pushed Olivia towards the water's edge. Olivia's feet tangled, and with a sharp, collective shove from the trio, she stumbled and fell into the river with a splash that silenced the nearby chatter. For a moment, everything went still. Olivia sank beneath the surface, her thoughts a whirlwind of fear and disbelief. As the cold water enveloped her, an instinctual panic to gasp for air rose within her. But as she braced for the icy rush in her lungs, something extraordinary happened. The water didn't choke her, instead, it embraced her, warm and welcoming. Confusion gave way to a surreal calmness as Olivia opened her eyes underwater and found, to her astonishment, that she could see clearly. The river's depths shimmered with light, and the water caressed her skin like an old friend. Then, the transformation began. Olivia felt a tingling sensation starting at her toes, moving up her legs. She looked down and watched in awe as her legs fused, reshaping into a tail that glittered with scales of silver and azure. Her clothes melded into her new form, becoming part of the shimmering tail that swayed gracefully with the current. Power surged through her veins, a raw, natural force that pulsed with the rhythm of the river. Olivia realized she was not drowning, she was evolving. The river, which had always been her sanctuary, was now a part of her, revealing her true nature as a river maiden, an heir to a mystical lineage long hidden from our conscious world. Above the surface, the silence turned into chaos as the students and teachers noticed Olivia's absence. Panic ensued, but down below, Olivia reveled in her newfound form, her fear replaced by a profound and powerful serenity. As she swam upwards, ready to face the world with her new identity, she understood that her life was about to change forever. And so were the lives of those who had pushed her into these depths, unaware of the tide they were about to face emergence. The surface of the river rippled gently as Olivia prepared to reveal her new form. Below the water, she had embraced her transformation, the river's ancient magic coursing through her veins, endowing her with a grace and power she had never known. Now, it was time to surface, to confront not just her bullies but her entire past as the timid, tormented girl of Zalika. With a powerful flick of her shimmering tail, Olivia propelled herself upward. The water parted with a whisper, and in a moment that seemed suspended in time, she broke the surface, her emergence a spectacle of splendor and strength. The sunlight caught on her scales, casting prismatic lights across the shocked faces of her classmates and teachers gathered by the riverbank. Olivia floated effortlessly, her tail swaying gently in the clear water, her eyes shining with an ethereal light. The schoolyard cruelty she had endured seemed trivial now, washed away by the river's embrace. She was no longer just Olivia. She was a creature of profound beauty and power, a guardian of the waterways, a river maiden. The crowd on the bank was silent, mouths agape. Jessica, Maya, and Lily stood frozen, their mocking bravado dissolved into fear and awe. The same peers who had laughed at Olivia's patched clothes and worn shoes now gazed at her in wonder and disbelief. The teachers, unsure and astonished, whispered among themselves, trying to grasp the reality unfolding before them. Olivia's gaze found Jessica's. In a voice that resonated with the depth and melody of the river itself, she addressed her tormentor. "Jessica," she began, her tone calm but carrying an undeniable authority, "you pushed me into the river to humiliate me, thinking I would flounder and plead. But look at me now. Look at what your cruelty has revealed." Jessica's eyes widened, her usual confidence replaced by a vulnerability she had never shown. She stammered, "Olivia, we didn't know." Her voice trailed off, unable to finish, her glance shifting away in shame. Olivia continued, her voice flowing over the onlookers like water over smooth stones. "No, you didn't know. None of you did. You saw only what you wanted to see, a poor, defenseless girl. But every creature, no matter how small or humble, has depths you cannot imagine and strengths you cannot see." Turning to address all her classmates, Olivia's voice softened but retained its firmness. "Let this be a lesson to us all. Let us judge less and understand more. Let us see not just with our eyes but with our hearts. And let us remember that kindness, like water, wears away the hardest stone." As Olivia spoke, her tail gently splashed the water, sending ripples across the surface, mirroring the ripples of change she instigated in the hearts of her listeners. The bullies, now humbled, nodded their understanding, their eyes lowered in introspection. With a graceful turn, Olivia swam towards the center of the river, her form a silhouette of power and grace against the setting sun. The water seemed to celebrate her, swirling around her in sparkling eddies and waves. As she disappeared from view, a new legend was born in Zalika, that of the River Maiden, a guardian spirit born of cruelty but risen in majesty. On the riverbank, the transformation in attitudes was palpable. Respect replaced ridicule, wonder supplanted mockery, and Olivia, once the subject of scorn, became a symbol of awe and respect, a true testament to the mysterious and transformative power of nature and the human spirit. The power revealed. After her dramatic emergence from the river, Olivia, now fully embracing her identity as the River Maiden, remained just beneath the surface, watching the reactions of her classmates on the shore. The initial shock of her transformation gave way to a murmur of awe and curiosity among the students. It was in this pivotal moment that Olivia decided to reveal the extent of her newfound abilities, not just to astound, but to educate and reshape the perspectives of her peers. As the whispers grew, Olivia lifted her hands above the water. The river responded to her gestures like a well-trained orchestra to a conductor's baton. With a graceful movement, she beckoned the water upwards, and streams of liquid spiraled into the air, shimmering in the sunlight like floating strands of jewels. The crowd gasped, their eyes wide as they witnessed the spectacle. Olivia then guided the water into a dance, forming shapes and figures that told a story, the story of a lonely girl shunned and mocked, her solitude depicted through the solemn movements of the water. Turning the narrative tide, Olivia let the water fall like rain over Jessica, Maya, and Lily, who stood frozen, drenched not just by water but by the realization of their actions. Feel the isolation, the cold sting of exclusion, Olivia spoke softly, yet her voice carried powerfully over the river. This is how I felt every day, under your laughter and scorn. The water around Olivia swirled faster, reflecting scenes of her walking alone, sitting by herself during meals, and the many times she had been the subject of ridicule. Each scene crafted from water detailed her pain and loneliness, her resilience in the face of cruelty. Jessica, Maya, and Lily watched, their earlier defiance crumbling under the weight of their guilt. They saw their actions not just as harmless jokes but as harpoons that had wounded deeply. Tears mingled with river water on their cheeks, their eyes no longer held malice, but regret. As the performance of water and empathy concluded, Olivia's form stabilized, and the river calmed, mirroring the stillness that fell over the group. Do you understand now? Olivia asked, her tone gentle but firm. True strength lies in kindness, not in cruelty. Jessica was the first to respond, stepping forward hesitantly. Her voice shook as she spoke, Olivia, I never realized, I'm so sorry. Her apology was raw and sincere, stripped of the usual bravado. Maya and Lily joined in, their voices a chorus of repentance. We were wrong, Maya admitted, unable to meet Olivia's gaze. Can you forgive us? Lily added, we want to change, truly. Olivia watched them, her heart a complex tapestry of emotions. She had felt the sting of their actions deeply, yet her new connection to the river taught her about the flow of forgiveness. I accept your apologies, Olivia declared, but remember, forgiveness is not just spoken. It must be lived. Change your actions, and let your kindness ripple outward, as these waters do. The bullies nodded, understanding that this was their opportunity to do better, to transform their regret into respect and kindness. Olivia, with a final sweep of her hand, smoothed the water surface, sealing her acceptance of their apologies. As the students began to disperse, murmuring among themselves about the day's unbelievable events, they looked at Olivia not with fear, but with respect and a newfound sense of reflection on their actions. Olivia's demonstration of her powers had not only instilled awe but had sparked a crucial change in the hearts of her peers, promising a future where empathy and understanding would overshadow ridicule and isolation. A new beginning. Following her profound transformation and the public reconciliation with her classmates, Olivia found herself in a new role within the village of Zalika. No longer seen merely as an outcast, she was now both respected and revered as the River Maiden. Her unique connection with the river, once a source of personal solace, had become a symbol of her destiny to nurture and protect her community. With her newfound status, Olivia contemplated how best to use her abilities for the greater good. The river, which had revealed her true nature, was the lifeblood of Zalika, vital for both the ecosystem and the villagers' livelihoods. Recognizing this, Olivia decided to dedicate herself to enhancing the health and vitality of the river and, by extension, the village itself. Her first act was to cleanse the river of pollutants that had accumulated over the years. With a gentle wave of her hands, she summoned the currents, which gathered the waste and carried it away, leaving the water crystal clear and teeming with life. The villagers watched in awe as fish returned in abundance, and the once murky waters transformed into vibrant, flowing streams. Encouraged by this success, Olivia initiated a series of community projects centered around the river. She taught the villagers sustainable fishing techniques that would maintain the aquatic population while providing ample food. She also introduced irrigation methods that utilized the river's water more efficiently, ensuring that crops received adequate hydration without depleting the natural resource. These initiatives not only improved the daily lives of the villagers but also deepened their connection to the river. Olivia organized regular gatherings by the water, where stories of the river's spirit, now personified in Olivia, were shared. These tales, passed down through generations, reinforced the community's bond and respect for nature. In a symbolic gesture of unity and prosperity, Olivia led the villagers in planting a garden along the riverbank. Each plant, tree, and flower was chosen for its ability to thrive in the local environment and its benefits to the ecosystem. This garden became a communal space for relaxation and reflection, a place where villagers could come together in peace and harmony. As the seasons changed, the garden flourished, a testament to Olivia's powers and the village's hard work. It was not only a source of beauty and pride but also a practical provider of herbs and fruits that enriched the villagers' diet. The transformation of Zalika did not go unnoticed by neighboring communities. They came to learn from Olivia, seeking to replicate her methods in their own villages. Olivia, with the humble grace that had defined her even in her darkest times, shared her knowledge freely, fostering a network of cooperation and support among the villages along the river. Olivia's story, from outcast to guardian of the river, became a legend in Zalika. She was no longer the girl who had been bullied and shunned, she was their protector, their teacher, and their inspiration. In her, the villagers saw the power of resilience, the beauty of forgiveness, and the importance of caring for the natural world that sustained them. Her acceptance and her role were now sealed within the heart of Zalika, symbolized by the thriving river that flowed through the village, a constant reminder of the transformation that respect and understanding can bring to a community. Legacy of the River Maiden. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden sheen over the river, Olivia stood on the bank, her gaze fixed on the gentle flow of the water. It mirrored her own journey, from the turbulent, isolated currents of her youth to the serene and respected existence she now enjoyed. The river had been both her adversary and her salvation, revealing her true nature and setting her on a path to become a guardian of her community. Olivia's reflection on her transformation was profound. She remembered the days of walking through the village, head bowed, the target of scorn and ridicule. Now, as the River Maiden, she walked with her head held high, not out of pride but out of a sense of responsibility and gratitude. The same waters that had once been a source of pain had cleansed her of her past and given her a purpose that was intricately linked to the life of every villager in Zalika. Looking forward, Olivia had ambitious plans for the village. With her abilities to control and purify water, she envisaged creating a system of canals that would ensure every home had access to clean water. She also planned to expand the communal gardens along the riverbanks, introducing more varieties of plants that could bring nutritional and medicinal benefits to her people. Furthermore, she hoped to establish a festival that would celebrate the river, bringing together surrounding communities to share in the bounty and beauty of their natural resources. In the closing scene, as the orange hues of twilight bathed the village in warm light, Olivia stood by the river, surrounded by the children of Zalika. They listened intently as the village storyteller, an elderly man whose voice was as smooth as the river itself, recounted the tale of the river maiden. "Children," he began, his eyes twinkling as he pointed to Olivia, "the story of our beloved river maiden teaches us that beneath the surface of every one of us flows the potential for greatness. Like the river that bends and turns, Olivia's path was not straight. She faced hardship and heartache, but she also found strength and courage within her that she didn't know existed." He continued, "Remember, my young friends, kindness is like the water that sustains us. It is essential and life-giving. Be kind to each other, and be resilient like Olivia. For in resilience, there is the power to overcome the greatest of challenges." As the children clapped and cheered, Olivia's heart swelled with joy. She knew that her legacy would not just be in the feats she achieved with her powers, but in the lessons of empathy, kindness, and resilience she imparted to the next generation. The children dispersed, some staying back to ask Olivia questions or to simply stand beside her, looking out at the flowing river. Olivia answered each query patiently, knowing that with each word, she was planting seeds of change and growth for the future. As the night drew in, and the stars began to twinkle in the vast African sky, Olivia felt a deep connection to the river and to the village that had become her true home. Her journey from isolation to being a cherished community member was complete, and as she looked out over the water that had changed her destiny, she knew that her story, the legacy of the river maiden, would flow through the ages, inspiring generations to come.